Hi everyone, it's Suki here, and thank you for watching my video again. For today's video, I kind of just want to have a chat with you guys, like an honest heart-to-heart on my reflection of choosing to study in the UK since I am soon to be finishing my master's at the LSE. I'll be done with my education and going to start work. I have made a video about my career plan. If any of you guys are interested, you can check it out here. This video would just be a reflection on me pursuing all my higher education, so university level studies in the UK. Was it worth it? Just talking about why I chose to go overseas, because I am originally from Hong Kong. I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I've lived in Hong Kong my whole life. Literally left Hong Kong when I was 18 to go to Sheffield to do my undergrad, and then continuing my studies in London to do masters. So that's a bit of my background. I kind of want to just talk about the pros and cons of studying abroad. So if you're thinking of studying abroad, specifically in the UK, this might be a really useful video for you. Anywhere else, it still might be relevant. The reason why I left Hong Kong was mainly because I wanted a change of scenery, which is, I think, one of the biggest pro, in my opinion, of like going abroad and studying. I just wanted to see new things, explore a new, complete different city. I'm kind of like tired of just being in Hong Kong, being surrounded by the same environment. I feel like I was at the stage in my life where I wanted to try something new, and I've always seen myself as going to university abroad because in an Asian parent's perspective, that's where the better universities are, because in Hong Kong we have like Hong Kong University, which is really highly ranked, but it's obviously not as good as LSE or other world-class university you get in the UK or US. I was debating between the UK and US, but then US tuition, everyone knows, it's just too expensive. I don't even know why like the government allows that to be a norm. It's like so normal that it's a scam now, pretty much, how expensive US education is. UK is still expensive, but compared to the US, like UK is like reasonable, but it is not. I feel like education should mainly be free, especially university. But anyway, that is like another conversation. So yeah, I didn't pursue my US because first of all, I didn't get into any university that I actually liked, and also I got into some that is okay, like not amazing, but also very expensive, so I went to Sheffield instead. I don't regret going to the UK instead of the US, mainly because of the people. I think mainly just the people I met through living in the UK and just my memories that I've made. I wouldn't have changed it for anything, even though it's obviously not perfect. My experience in the UK, there are ups and downs. I've been discriminated as an Asian. I've had time where I felt like I wanted to go home really bad because I feel homesick. But then looking back in hindsight, I just feel like it happened for a reason, because without the downs, I wouldn't be enjoying the ups anyway. So I wouldn't change it for anything. Like, I'm happy that I chose to go to university in the UK. Big pro that I chose to come to UK is literally, I'm just gonna stay here now. I think it basically has crafted my life for me. I studied my master's in London, now I'm doing a job in London too. Like, the segue and everything is pretty much crafted out for me, and my parents are quite happy with that anyway, because they see more opportunities for me in London compared to Hong Kong, because London is a more international city and well-known. Hong Kong is quite international too, but compared to London, London is the more like financially vibrant city, like New York, right? But then this can also be a con, because it might be a bit restrictive, since if you choose to study, let's say in Australia and America, there's a big chance that you will stay there after you finish your studies if you're lucky enough to find a job. But I do know some of my relatives went back to Hong Kong after their studies in America or the UK. It depends, but then I feel like from my personal perspective, I was quite lenient in staying in London, which would not have happened if I didn't like study like overseas. Another pro is just I feel like I've made a lot more international friends after studying in the UK compared to when I was in Hong Kong. So back when I was in Hong Kong, all my friends are mainly from Hong Kong or China. A very few are from like the UK. Like, I don't really have a big diverse group of friends. After going to university, I've met a lot more people and kind of just expanded my cultural like lens and perspective in life, just understanding more about the differences and being more understanding towards one another. I have met a lot of British people, obviously, like my boyfriend is British, and like I've met Americans here, I've met like you name it. I've met like people from Mauritius, from Zimbabwe, from Taiwan, so many, like literally from Kosovo. The diversity when you study abroad, especially in the UK, because there's a lot of international students like me coming into the UK to study. So I feel like some people have never met a person from Hong Kong before until I started talking to that person, right? It's like the same. I think just being abroad makes me open up to adapting to new experiences, meeting new people. And I think if I stayed in Hong Kong for university, most of my friends would still be from Hong Kong. I also learned to be really independent after starting university. This is really embarrassing, but this is very true. Growing up, I'm always scared of sleeping alone. Even when I was 16, I'd sleep with my sister even though I have my own room. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Because I was scared. I really didn't like sleeping alone. But then after going to university, I can sleep alone. But that is just like an analogy to show that I've built a lot of independence, not just sleeping alone, but it's just like stuff like organization, being able to just control my finances. I think just learning how to time manage to make sure you meet deadlines, being independent is a big takeaway, because when you travel abroad, most of the time you won't bring your family with you, or maybe they might come to help you settle but they will leave eventually, and you will have to just bring yourself on board and just put trust in your decision, believe in yourself. And that's one thing that I've learned. I've also learned to be a lot more grateful for my life, because I know that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to study abroad, or even like have the choice to choose between staying in Hong Kong or study abroad. But it just makes me open up. I guess that's also stemmed from like meeting people from different backgrounds in terms of finances, in terms of culture, in terms of ethnicity. It made me like understand how lucky I am to be in the position to first meet these type of amazing people, and second just to study abroad. And that I've never forget. Like every single day, like living away from my family, I'm just super grateful that they've given me the chance. Now I kind of want to also cover on the cons of me studying abroad and things that I just didn't actually like that much. I think the first one is a no-brainer, but just being homesick and having to adapt to a completely new environment. I don't know if it's language, weather, climate, cultural. It's just a lot, and it can be overwhelming, and you also don't have any friends when you first move over, so there's just so much for you to just get used to. But what got me through that is mainly meeting people that's in the same situation as me. So when I first moved in my university dorm, like my next door neighbor was also an international student, so we just clicked from there, and we just had each other's back, and if we needed anything, we know we can rely on each other. I think just the support network you build is really important, and that only starts if you branch out. I think you have to be brave enough to just try and say hi to everyone and meet people, and don't expect people to come and say hi to you. Like, don't try to think you're desperate or like think you don't look cool if you just say hi to everyone. I think being friendly is sometimes being labeled as like desperate that you don't have friends, but I really disagree, because I had that mindset for a bit in my life, and I just really hated how I think that, because I just felt like this is me being really honest and transparent, but there was this time in my life at university I wanted to be cool, so I don't really reach out to people and expect people to reach out to me, which I think it's really arrogant, and it just puts a bad look on my side. It just makes me look like unfriendly, which is exactly what I'm doing. So once I came to realization that that's just like, there is no like popularity hierarchy. We're just too old for all these stuff. Like, just make yourself available and just try to be friendly and say hi to people. Like, you never know what that hi can lead to. And if you guys like don't actually get along, at least you tried, at least you like took the chance. But if you can't tell, like there really isn't that much cons. I kind of briefly touch about the cons, but I just don't think it's worth going into depth about it, because obviously I do not regret my decision studying abroad, since now I'm still staying in London and just seeing my life being in here in the future because I'm also trying to get a citizenship, and this is long term, and I feel like this can only happen if I actually enjoyed my time being in the UK, and I did. I really did. And I'm just glad that I made the choice to jump out of my comfort zone and just go to somewhere that I've never been before, even though that's something I always wanted to do. But let's be honest, it can be nerve-wracking. I do question my decision from time to time because like it's like that what if I stayed in Hong Kong. Yeah, so that's basically my reflection of studying abroad. All in all, I'm happy I did it. Like, I just think it's worth a try. Obviously, if you are capable of doing it financially, or if you could get a scholarship, it is not cheap. It is definitely not cheap. Like the transport, like finding accommodation and everything, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes money. But I think the reward is so immense that I just would do it all over again, honestly. And even if you, touch wood, don't like your experience of studying abroad, you can always just go back home after your 3 years of undergrad, or 1 year of master, or 4 years of PhD, or 4 years of undergrad. I don't know, whatever you pursue. My outtake from just staying abroad for 4 years is I'm just happy I made this decision. Yeah, anyway, I hope this video kind of just gave you a good insight on my experience and my perspective of studying abroad, pros and cons of studying in the UK, etc. I don't really know what I'm going to title this video. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me again. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.